Our opening hymn is hymn number 1010, We Give Thanks. Alex will introduce it.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to see you all here. One thing I was thinking about as we are singing in this time is that it's not as much fun as it usually is. What I like to be a part of in a congregation is when we're all making music together. That brings me a lot of joy, and I think that's an important thing that we do as human beings, being musical people. And so I want to encourage you, even though I know we can't really sing out as we're here. If you're at home, you can sing as loud as you like, of course. But in this room, to be safe, we need to, of course, not sing too loud. So I want to encourage you to hum, to move as you feel inspired to move. But know that this isn't a performance. We're not here to perform for you. We're here to try to facilitate being together through song and through words. So know that we're not here performing for you, and I hope that you will sing as you're able. And I'd also like to invite you to stand if you like. So let's stand if you feel like it, and let's sing We Give Thanks. We'll do this 3 times. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. We give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away. For this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away. For this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice as a symbol of sanctuary and safety, to unite us in our worship and to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the wonder and mystery of this great gift. So let us now kindle the flame of our liberal religious heritage and renew our covenant of mutual love and care. Love is our doctrine, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to serve those in need. This we promise, this we covenant with life and one another. Each week, we light a candle for justice and healing. We hold space for our understanding of interdependence, that our liberation is bound up with every other person's liberation, and our feelings of rage and heartbreak over the ongoing pandemics of illness and racism, the devastation of climate chaos, and the waves of trauma washing over our world. As the pandemic continues to take a terrible toll on people, with over 700,000 people in the United States have died thus far, feeding on divisiveness and systems of oppression that have been allowed to fester, we light this candle to help us hold space together for processing what is happening in our lives and in our worlds. We light this candle that we may not be numbed to injustice, devastation, illness, and trauma, but rather find strength, courage, and love together to continue engaging with the struggles for liberation, justice, and healing. Today, as we light this candle, we're particularly mindful, again, of the COVID deaths and the people suffering from COVID, our healthcare workers, and all others affected within our nation but worldwide, and also of the migrants on our border and the immigrants coming in from Afghanistan. And now let us hold a time of silence to listen to our hearts and bodies, or perhaps lift up prayers. As Xinwei plays our centering music, please take this time to sink more deeply into the presence of each other. In this time, we invite you into a practice of beholding each other. If you're online participating in the service and you'd like, please turn on your cameras and spend time beholding each other's faces, each other's presence. If you're in the sanctuary, please take this time to behold the reality of each other. And please feel free to chat to let us know that your chalice is lit.
Now, if you're online, please turn your video back off. And good morning. For starters, I wanted to note that some of you may have noticed that we have a board with a lot of really colorful Post-it notes out in the lobby. And that's a continuation of our project that we did at IC Pride yesterday. So if you're in the sanctuary and you want to add a love note or a note about something that brings you joy to our board, please do so. We're going to be mingling the notes with the notes that we collected yesterday and creating a mural that we can put out in the atrium. And if you're at home and you would like to share a note of love or share a note of joy, email me, and we will make sure that your note of love and joy makes it to the board as well. And during this season of giving at UUS, it's important to be reminded of how beautiful and valuable and wonderful that each one of us is. So, for today's Ari moment, I will be reading the poem titled You Matter by my UU colleague, Matthew Rosen. And for this reading, whether you are at home or in the sanctuary with us, I'd like for you to close your eyes and contemplate a world where each you is recognized for beauty, value, and wonder. So you ready? Close your eyes. You matter. There is no one like you, never will be again. From the birth of the earth to its outermost end, you, an eager shout, a sacred yes that moves your flesh, your bone, and your breath. You, she, he, they, you are wonderful and okay, gracefully teaching your truth and your way. You cannot be forgotten. We cherish you so. Your voice and your hands can do more than you know. You see old things anew. You turn them and test them. Your wonder exhausts our worlds to express them. You speak and lay bare all you dig up and hold, aloft from the dust of conventions grown cold. You upend every rock and pursue every glimmer, and give a new name to each sparkle and shimmer. You chart out new paths, go beyond our horizons, new friendships, new stories, your hope always rising. You, welcome and wanted, whatever your skin, wherever the neighborhood you were born in. You play across fences that keep us divided. Old walls become weak where your love is ignited. You call us to kindness and questions, reminding the life of our living is found in the finding. You, there is no one like you, and never will be again. From the birth of the earth to its outermost end. You matter, you do. We'll keep learning with you. Now stand on our shoulders and see what you can do.
Good morning. It's wonderful to see all of you. I'm here on behalf of the Stewardship Committee, and I want to start by saying that our cultural and civic institutions are critical to our shared life, and we've never been reminded of that more than the last 2 years. They inspire us, they connect us, and when functioning at their best, can be transformative. UU congregations are transformational when funded at aspirational levels. This is the fundamental reason that I committed to raising funds for this building and for helping lead the stewardship campaign for the last several years. Now, I will be the first to admit that stewardship campaigns are not nearly as sexy as building campaigns. However, and especially at this juncture in our congregational life, the success of our current campaign will define the future of this congregation. To date, we have made 61 pledges, but we still need to raise over $246,000. This morning, the Stewardship Committee is asking you to consider your support and give an aspirational gift. Please, read the stewardship material you received. Understand the need and the goals we are trying to meet. And please, pledge early. A lot of work has gone into building this budget and building this campaign, and I know you can do your part by opening your envelope and making a pledge. We have 2 matching challenges to inspire you this morning. Anyone pledging for the first time or pledging again after not pledging last year will have their pledge matched. $5,000 are available for this match. And another $10,000 are available to either match new pledges or to match the increase in a pledge that increases by 10% or more. Now that we sound like public radio, let's meet the challenge. I have a few very important comments to make in closing. I want to thank the board and the Finance Committee for the immense amount of time they have spent making our finances work over the last few years, and over the last year in particular. I want to thank Liz, Diana, Mike, and Pete for the thought and time they have put into every step of this campaign. Our speakers today also deserve special appreciation. Judy and Ron support 2 congregations. Mary has inspired us all with her work to fight racism. And Steve and Jan have been instrumental to the institutional and social fabric of this congregation. Please, do your part. Pledge early, and why not pledge often? Thank you.
Selfie. So this should be. Hi everyone. This is my first time ever using my sports video camera that I was given for my grandson's sporting events to use it as a selfie. So this should be interesting. You've probably heard me say this before, but in 2008, I encountered Unitarian Universalists for the first time in Davenport. One might ask, where did you meet them? But UUs know instinctually that it was during every protest I attended. I enjoyed talking to these folks and finally asked, are UU following me or am I following UU? Their answer was, of course, yes. Back then I lived in North Liberty. Life kept me busy helping my daughter raise her 3 boys. It was a happy and a fulfilling time for me. Then, of course, the last administration shocked and broke my heart. Fortunately, I found the Facebook ad for the UUS grand opening on Sunday, October 29th, 2017. I felt the fog begin to lift. I attended the grand opening and felt as if I already knew the people surrounding me, each one of you. The following Saturday, November 4th, I traveled to the Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. The NAACP had organized an event to support Jeremy Mitchell in Cedar Rapids. I sat alone. Then, to my sweet surprise, I saw a group of UUs walk in together on the other side of the chapel. I smiled, remembering Davenport and the grand opening. So when the service for Jeremy broke my heart, I already knew where I would turn for inspiration the next day. Growing up in an every generation military and law enforcement family, I learned to never allow myself to be too attached to people or to hometowns. Military families learn how to make friends, but we never learn how to build long-term relationships. There was always another change on the horizon, so we counted our blessings and let go of our expectations. When I looked around at my UUS friends, I knew it was time for me to grow. 4 years later, I am still a work in progress, but my UUS friends never give up on me. I can feel their support and their passion to do good work in and for our communities. To me, that's worth everything. My pledge is never as much as I would like it to be. I receive so much more than I give. My guess is that we all feel that way. So every year, I do whatever is possible to increase my pledge. I'm a new kid on this block. Our lovely sanctuary was built by others who were here when the plans were made and the foundations were laid. Each one of you made me feel welcome. We share many of the same dreams, hopes, and concerns, but our strengths are so very different. So together we are a perfect gathering of souls. That's what I feel when I walk in our doors. Or these days, I see you in the sanctuary on my laptop. I pledge as much as I'm able, because this place, filled with your energy, allows me to feel a deep contentment. I have a fairly Spartan lifestyle that suits me very well. Even though COVID has driven up our cost of living, my peace of mind continues to grow when I increase my pledge to our congregation's beautiful home. Thank you all for the blessing you are to me and to each other. Travel well, my friends.
Our time and our resources is a reflection of our values. In response to the abundance we are blessed with, every week this congregation donates generously to organizations in this community whose work aligns with our values and principles. Our community partner agency this month is the Emma Goldman Clinic. Emma continues to be a safe and caring clinic for women, men, and teens to receive client-centered medical care. Clinic staff and volunteers welcome individuals with diverse gender and sexual expression and offer total support of pregnancy choices as well as flu shots, STI and UTI screenings, and educational and mental health help. On the screen, you will see instructions for how to give online, or you may take this time to write a check and address an envelope to UUS to be put in the mail. If you are attending this service in the sanctuary, you can give online, or there is a basket for checks in the atrium. The usher can help you find it after the service. You may assist our community partner, contribute to the congregation to provide additional support for our operating expenses, or contribute towards your pledge to our society. The offering is a sign of commitment to this free congregation, which is completely supported by voluntary generosity of all who join us. As we give and receive the offering, may we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. Morning is by Victoria Weinstein. In the spirit of the prophet Amos, a Unitarian minister, A. Powell Davies, prayed, "Help us to remember, O God, that from those to whom much has been given, much is expected." Let us join our hearts and spirits in prayerful reflection. To whom much is given, even more is asked. We have been given the bounty of this beautiful day, and we have been given the gift of the worship tradition that draws us together, virtually and in person, in hope and memory, learning, healing, growing, and serving. We lift up grateful hearts. We have been given the inspiration of our brothers and sisters in faith who walk with us the path of the free religious life, who companion us in our joys and sorrows, and who are ours by design of fate or necessity, to care for and to love, to forgive and to cherish for this time of our lives. We lift up grateful hearts. We have been given minds with which to wonder and to reason, and we have been given voices to speak and to sing and to shout out against injustice. And we have hands to work and to build the better world we would have for ourselves and our children. We are asked to use them all in the service of love and justice. We lift up grateful hearts. We have been given the divine spark, all whose health and wholeness requires us to tend to the life of the soul. In our rushing and our doing, may we not forget whose we are and what we truly are. Not human beings having a spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a human experience. We lift up grateful hearts. We ponder this mystery together, glad for one another, blessed by the abundance of our lives, and called to give abundantly of ourselves to it. You can listen to our meditative music this time.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. And when I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. And I'd like to invite you to sing along as you like. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
It's a privilege to be here. My deeper experience of the rich spiritual, intellectual, and relational life available through the Unitarian Universalist Society community began with my marriage with Jan in 1991 in a service conducted by Fritz Hudson at 10 South Gilbert in Iowa City. We used a couple of quotes derived from Rumi in the service, including the poem beginning, out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. The beloved community we aspire to and often embody is at times too full to talk about as well. In our early years, when Nancy Haley was minister, several transformative programs began. Welcome Home Wednesdays and covenant groups were two major influences for me. In collaboration with a secular humanist, UU, Charles Eastham, we explored and participated in a 6-week program on humanism, which for me established a strong intellectual foundation in the company of UUs who valued and lived by reason, science, ethical commitment, service, and a faith in the goodness in human nature. It was a great place to begin my UU journey. Mary McMurray inspired a 6-week Welcome Home Wednesday program on immigration issues, which led me to become involved in the UUS support of a local immigrant family whose mother was returned from Mexico to her 7 children and husband in Iowa City through legal and moral support provided in part by the UUS community. I learned of the depth of suffering that motivated immigrant flight from El Salvador to the United States. My attitude and actions, as well as that of other UUs, have become profoundly appreciative and supportive towards immigrants who have come to build new lives in the United States. Nancy Haley was also instrumental in establishing covenant groups, one of which Jan and I joined early on and have attended for over 20 years, establishing deep friendships based on sharing, trust, and service. I also collaborated with other UUs on 2 6-week Welcome Home Wednesdays called a UU Buddhist Adventure. This experience led to the establishment of the UU Buddhist Sangha, which I was privileged to facilitate for a while, and which has led me to an established Buddhist practice. Subsequently, I've participated in 3 small group sessions of Wellspring, a UUA-sponsored program in which we are exposed to the depth and breadth of our UU spiritual lives, learning, and faithful actions. Participation in the racial justice team, currently led by David Martin and Peg Bauschka, has opened my eyes and my heart to the need for unrelenting commitment to racial justice work. I also had the opportunity to serve on the board during 2 tumultuous times when minister-congregational conflict was intense. My understanding of the complexity and the resilience of the UU church life was greatly increased, and I learned the value of a moderating role during those difficult transitions. To conclude, I support UUS because it has given me, my wife, and this beloved community extraordinary opportunities for interpersonal spiritual growth, community service, and social justice work. Looking forward, the Unitarian Universalist Society will continue to be a dynamic source of hope, aspiration, and healing for our fraught world. Thank you for listening.
Well, I am Judy Quinn. Ron Crawford is my husband. And as Jeffrey Ford said, Ron and I belong to two Unitarian Universalist congregations. 2 years before we joined UUS Society of Iowa City, we joined a church in Florida. And here we are. This is our home church because we are Iowans. And also, when Steve mentioned Nancy Haley, and because this is a stewardship service today, I remember a sermon she gave on stewardship. And basically the message was, think about it and reflect on it and don't make a quick decision, but be sure that you give what feels good, what feels wonderful, that you feel so happy about. Because if you don't give enough, you'll feel remorse. And if you give too much, you will feel not quite right about it. So you'll feel sort of a regret because you couldn't afford what you were going to give. So anyway, Jeffrey's message was just right today. So, Ron and I have known each other ever since we were children in Ainsworth, Iowa. We were in the same confirmation class in the Ainsworth Methodist Episcopal Church. Ron and I don't have any children, but we have lots of nieces and nephews, and we both think it is very important for all children to have religious education. Before becoming Unitarian Universalists, Ron and I were members of Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Washington, Iowa. When we retired and moved to Washington, we joined Emmanuel Lutheran because some of my relatives were members there. We were happy in the church and participated fully in the church's activities. But Ron and I did not literally believe the dogma and creed of the church. For us, the dogma and creed only had metaphorical and symbolic meaning. Ron and I became members of this Unitarian Universalist Society in 2006. At that time, the society was in a beautiful, small, historic building on Gilbert Street in Iowa City. Ron and I always look forward to Sunday services and are so glad that it is now possible to attend in person in this beautiful building. This is the greenest church in Iowa, not only because of its structure and its operation, but also because of all the work that members of the society are continuously doing to restore and save the environment in other places too. The Sunday services are very important to me. The special music, the chalice lighting, the hymn singing, the readings, the children's messages, the ministers' sermons, they touch my heart and mind. They give me a feeling of being connected to the whole universe, and especially to this world and all the plants and animals and people living on it. I feel that all the people in the world are my brothers and sisters, and I feel motivated to do what I can to make the world a better place. In March of 2020, when everything shut down because of the COVID pandemic, I felt lost after all the social events were canceled. I began focusing my attention on COVID and national politics and not much else. So I was delighted when the Society began providing Sunday services on Zoom. The online Sunday services were a great comfort to me. For a while then, I could completely forget COVID and the state of the nation. And I liked the randomly assigned breakout rooms that Peggy set up after the Sunday services was ended. It was so wonderful to be able to see and talk to friends and to people I was meeting for the first time. It was from talking with friends in these breakout rooms that I learned of opportunities to do volunteer tutoring on Zoom. Preparing the lessons and then tutoring was an interesting and worthwhile distraction from COVID and politics. I really appreciate all the seminars and classes and meetings that the Society offered on Zoom. Ron and I even got to meet Reverend Diana before she moved to Iowa. The annual fundraising auction that was held last December was remarkably well managed and fun to attend. So I am very grateful to all the people who are providing the Zoom services and who managed to offer both in-person and online Sunday services at the same time. Now I'm looking forward to things eventually getting completely back to normal, with the sanctuary full during Sunday services and the wonderful coffee hour in the social hall afterward, and all the in-person meetings and programs and events that are so enjoyable and worthwhile. Yesterday, Ron and I walked with fellow UUs in the Pride Festival's Unity March in downtown Iowa City. It was wonderful being a part of the parade and talking to people from other like-minded groups. Several people who were watching the parade said they liked my UU t-shirt, which had Side with Love on the front and Unitarian Universalist Society, Coralville, Iowa on the back. We got to hear the choir, which is directed by Eric, and we saw the UU table in the pedestrian mall. It was very busy when we walked by, as you can see by the little messages on the board in the entryway. Ron and I love this UU Society and are so happy to be members of this community. Both of us affirm and try to follow the 7 principles of Unitarian Universalism. Through the years, the Society has provided us with many opportunities for social activities, for education, for helping the environment, and for helping our fellow human beings both locally and around the world. Being part of the UU community makes it much easier for us to contribute both time and money to the causes that we believe in. We appreciate being able to be part of the UU Society's efforts to make the world a better place.
Nurturing gratitude and how we understand and express interdependence is part of how we live into our Unitarian Universalist faith. May what has been shared today help us more fully affirm our interconnection and live into love and justice. Immediately after the service, we will have time to all join in conversation and community. Whether you're online or in the sanctuary, after the service, a host will explain the process for that location. And now to close our service today, we will sing hymn number 114.
How wonderful it is to be among people who live with such sincerity and striving. And this hymn is about that as well. It's an old barn burner, as it were, but it's good to sing these sometimes. So I'll invite you to stand, please, and let's do it. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine. Gift in differing measure, hearts of one accord. manifold the service, one the sure reward. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine. Wider grows the vision, realm of love and light. For it we must labor till our faith is sight. Prophets have proclaimed it, martyrs testified, poets sung its glory, heroes for it died. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine. Not alone we conquer, not alone we fall. In each loss or triumph, lose or triumph fall. Bound by God's far purpose in one living whole, move we on together to the shining goal. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine.
Please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again. You may be seated.
May we carry this light in ourselves. May we kindle the light in each other. And may we use our light to bring justice in this world. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be.
For those who are gathered here, after the traveling music, you're invited to have some time in fellowship with each other. I would just invite you to notice the colors on each other's name tags so that you're keeping distance for those who want more distance, and checking in with those who have yellow on their name tags. For those who are online, I will be giving some online instructions in just a few moments about the breakout rooms that will be available. So enjoy your conversations together, whether online or in person.